Alexander, thanks so much for catching up.
Thanks for having me.
It's nice to actually sit down and have a conversation other than tennis.
Yeah.
Probably the only thing we've got in common is type 1 diabetes. You've been a type 1 diabetic yourself. My daughter, now 4, was diagnosed at 2, little Matilda. And I have to start by just saying thank you for what you did last year, announcing that you put together the Alexander Zverev Foundation and spoken about your journey since the age of 3 as a type 1 diabetic. And now you're 25, 26?
25, turning 26 soon. Yeah, I've had it for a long time, but that was also the goal of my foundation a bit, to send a message out there that you can have a normal life. You can become anything you want with this kind of illness. There are a lot of Olympic gold medals with diabetes. There's a lot of great footballers in Europe as well. There's really no limit to what you can do.
Do you realise now the impact that you've had by being someone in your position, a high-profile athlete?
I think especially to parents. My parents were very scared. They were obviously very worried. Mom was crying a lot and all of that. But a lot of parents get intimidated by a lot of doctors who say, you know, your kid is very limited, which is not the case. I always said to the doctors, yeah, well, I want to play tennis, and that's the only thing I really care about. And some of them said, no, you have to stop. You cannot. There's no way you can be a professional athlete with this kind of illness. There's no way you can play such a hard physical sport. And this is what really stuck into my mind, made me quite upset as well, to be honest, because I don't think you should set any limits to kids, because I think that is just not fair to them.
Coming out and announcing it at 25 years of age, tell me the mentality behind having not gone publicly with it.
I felt very uncomfortable with it. You know, kids at the age of 9, 10, 11, at times my devices were broken, at times my insulin were smashed and all of that. So I was just uncomfortable with it. I was always trying to hide it. I wasn't checking my insulin levels in public. I wasn't doing matches. You never saw me do a shot or anything like that. I was always going to the bathroom to do it, which is not the right thing to do, because, you know, yes, I have all of that maybe trauma from back in the days, but I think you should never be embarrassed of it.
He announced that he's suffering from diabetes type 1. Is that a diabetes monitor?
I think it is.
When you're playing, are there times, and have there been times in your professional career when you felt type 1 actually impacting you and have needed to act during a match?
Oh yeah, it happens every few weeks. You know, when your sugar levels go low, your head starts spinning, you kind of not feeling quite well, everything is just not quite there. It's like when you're losing your conscience right before that. You see me taking gels during matches a lot of the times, but and when your sugar is high, you feel slow, your muscles are not working, you feel like you're just tired, you want to kind of go to bed and go to sleep. Obviously, I have to really take care of what I eat, I have to really take care of when I eat it, because that all obviously impacts the sugar levels, that all impacts the match, and then that impacts the outcome.
Tell me about the feeling when you first announced that you were a type 1 diabetic.
It was a relief. It was a massive relief, because I felt like, you know, I was carrying a stone on my back, and it was like, okay, finally I can let go. Finally I can kind of accept what I am, accept what I have inside of my body, and really show that to the world.
I find myself almost apologising to people I meet that are type 1 diabetic for being so ignorant. Before my daughter was diagnosed, there was no history of it in my family, and you know, as you know all too well, it's something that can happen to any of us at any time.
I think it's an illness that is not really talked about much, right? Because it is a very different illness. Unfortunately, not all countries are like Australia, like Germany, like the US maybe, where the medicine is there. And you know, a lot of the times when a kid is diagnosed with diabetes, it dies within a few days, a few weeks. That is something that I would like to change.
You're a Grand Slam finalist, Olympic champion. I think, you know, having someone like you putting type 1 diabetes up in lights and at least raising that awareness and breaking down the stigma that surrounds it out there. Congratulations to you, Alexander.
Thank you.
Thanks for what you're doing with it.